Hey, welcome everybody. We're here. We have Meg from Fanspeak. We're gonna do some marathon. We're gonna do a marathon. I don't know what else we're gonna do, if anything. But I have her ranking set up, and I'm excited to draft.
I'm excited to draft a marathon with you too. Yeah, marathon's going to be the contest I'm really leaning into this year, and I think it's fun because I think it's kind of the purest form of best ball. Like if you make good teams, you hopefully will get rewarded as long as they stay healthy. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to talking through marathon strategy with you and drafting one with you too.
Yeah. Since these take a while to fill, I am going
Yeah,
to go ahead and pop in the lobby. I still have to do it on my phone. We'll
yeah.
be in the 30-second lobby. I thought about doing it a few minutes ago. We're at eight more to start.
Okay,
So for anybody who wants to, I'm going to go ahead
I'm
and
gonna retweet it. And you said eight
yeah,
more.
eight more.
I'll put it in Pat's Discord too. See if anybody wants to
Okay,
jump in.
that's actually where I was getting ready to go. But yeah, you can go ahead and do that.
All
So
right.
yeah, I'm going to go ahead and apologize to anybody who is just in a German Shepherd with me because I I took a nap this afternoon and I woke up and it was 94% full. I was planning on doing the rest of them slow at the end. I had like three more to do, and then I was going to do them slow. So I just did 13 at the same time. So
That's
we
awesome.
so there I definitely did some sniping. It was like
Unintentional sniping,
I
I'm
I
sure.
got
Yeah.
I think at least three of the teams ended up getting put on the plane, and because I have the slows going, I couldn't find them to take them off the plane. So so like I haven't even looked through them yet. Maybe at the end of the stream I'll look through a lot of them for the first time. I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, so let me bring up your.
Let me
I'll
retweet
have to
this
log
now.
in. Like, if you want to go ahead and go over some of what your article is, I will go ahead and bring it up.
Yeah, I just did an article on our Fanspeak Substack about marathon strategies. I finished 138th last year on just 6 entries. So I'm going to lead into it a lot more this year because, again, I do think it's kind of rewards good drafting, good structure, good player takes, especially. Again, the luck comes in not on pud luck, it comes in on just your team staying healthy. And so I think, I wrote out basically a strategy article on our Fanspeak Substack. And basically, what you're looking to do is look for the players that are going to either live up to expectations in the early rounds, especially round one, and then outperform their ADP and positional ranking in the honestly after the first couple of rounds, the mid to late rounds. You're looking for those guys that are going to be breakout candidates, outperform their ADP, outperform their positional ranking. They're ranked as are going as RB 30. They end up being RB 10. That's a huge win. Last year, my marathon team that finished 138th. Let me pull it up. I'll just read the team quickly. It was, and believe me, there's some stinkers in here too. So that's a bummer because, I won $700, 138th, but obviously could have won a lot more if I just would have hit, some of the late round picks. Luckily the stinkers and the zeros were my last 4 or 5 picks. So it was Josh Allen, Kirk Cousins, Will Levis, Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Chuba Hubbard, Tank Bigsby, Khalil Herbert, Jordan Addison, Drake London, obviously not in order there. Drake London was the first receiver. Drake London, Jordan Addison, Jamison Williams, Lad McConkey, Calvin Ridley, Curtis Samuel, Roman Wilson, George Kittle, Jonnu Smith, and Jawan Johnson. So yeah, he pulled up the article there, and basically, because I had, even with having stinkers of Roman Wilson and Curtis Samuel and Khalil Herbert and Will Levis. Will Levis actually counted. I had Kirk Cousins and Josh Allen both on week 12 bye. So he still counted 17 points that week, which was big. And then, a lot of the guys were just, ranked in the top, 4 or 5 at their position. I didn't have that for receiver, but I had 4 top 20 receivers. And then, Josh Allen, QB2, Saquon Barkley, RB1, Jacobs, RB4, Hubbard, RB12. Again, 4 top 20 receivers, and then Kittle, tight end 1, and Jonnu, tight end 4. And that's kind of what you're looking. You're looking to hit that parlay, basically.
Yeah, I played quite a bit of drafters last year. It's hold, so I can't actually bring that up because I'm not logged in through Chrome yet.
Right.
So I'm not sharing the right screen, but I guess I could do this, but yeah, I mean, I didn't do it on limited entries, but I got 150th in drafters in the
That's
main,
awesome.
which had 186,000, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, that's a big one. Yeah.
Overall, I didn't do great, but I mean, it's all about build. Like some of my guys that did well, I paired them with some people I didn't take as often, and that's what did well. And it was
Yeah.
a. I would not recommend to build it the way that I built that team. So,
Why? What was the build of that team?
well, so number one is 20 rounds over there, right?
Right, right, yeah.
So I ended up going with like it was my 140th of the 150, and I was just kind of having fun. And Taysom Hill is a tight end over there, which makes and it's full PPR, so it's like
Right,
completely different. I went George Kittle fell to the fifth or the seventh.
right. He was a big one,
No, he was
right?
in the
Yeah.
eighth. He was in the eighth. So I took
That far
him.
down on drafters. Wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing.
he fell like a full round from where you normally went. And then the next pick I came back around and took Brock Bowers, and then 2 rounds later I also took Tyler Warren. So I had a week of 40 or of 80 some points from tight ends because of
Oh, wow.
because that one week Bowers and Taysom Hill both had nearly 40 points. And
That's
like
amazing. Yeah.
they stacked points up really well. And like my running back too was Zach Charbonnet on that team.
Oh, okay.
And I had like I think it was like like I had like 3 complete zeros, but I had 8 running backs.
Right. Okay. So you kind
And
of hit it
like
with volume.
yeah, but like my wide receivers just killed it. I killed tight end. And then I actually didn't even have a quarterback for week 14 because I took Anthony Richardson and Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
And the only other quarterback I had on that team was Gardner Minshew,
Oh, okay.
who ended up getting benched by that time.
Right.
So like
Right.
I literally only had one quarterback. Like you don't have to be perfect. Like it was not a good team. I don't know how it. I don't. It just everything spiked well together and worked
Right.
its way through.
Did
So
you hear the guy that won the marathon on Underdog was on one of Pete
yeah,
Rosette's stream, and he logged in, didn't know, because marathon. I think from everything Underdog said, marathon sprint, the sweats will be much better this year, but it wasn't good last year. You had to use BBMD. He didn't even realize logged in, and he had 300,000 extra in his account. So
well, no, it's
pretty
even better than that. He logged in to deposit
deposit,
money.
yeah, yeah,
So
for
like
playoff Bestball, yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty great.
even
Pretty
better
great.
than you see an extra 300K in your account. That's pretty amazing. But yeah, no, I mean, you don't have to be perfect. Obviously, I pretty much whiffed on my like last 4 or 5 picks, but had those hit, I obviously would have done better. Yeah, but I think you're just kind of looking to hit that parlay of these are the guys that at the end of the season. I remember Hayden Winks did an article. Who did you want to draft each round? You kind of want to hit a lot of those. These are the guys that I should be the one you're drafting in each round, and kind of try to hit that parlay. So I like it because it leans into player takes a lot. Because again, you're looking for those guys that are going to massively outperform, especially mid to late. But yeah, I really do enjoy it, and I personally enjoy the marathon on Underdog because I like you said, your receivers and tight ends crushed it. That's a full point PPR. And so I do enjoy, even back in my playing DFS days, I always did better on FanDuel than DraftKings. For whatever reason, I must be better at touchdown hunting than accounting
Huh,
for guys' PPR score. So I know some
yeah.
people were like, well, why do you draft to even bother? There's Drafters. Drafters is a great site, and I'll sprinkle some. But I definitely do better half point PPR. So I'm very happy that Underdog still has a marathon option, a season long
Yeah.
option
And it's
on.
new. Well, I'm
Yeah,
going to go ahead and say hi to the chat.
absolutely.
We got Victor, we got Disbanded, Ben Haskell, DJ Quill, Anthony, Scott Young, Fantasy Football Garage, Sladen, Thad. We got Hartman, Nick, Sladen, Tim, and Tyler, and Meat Gazer's just in here. Yep, I seen that just as I was logging in.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, I'm ready for some round 6 RJ Harvey.
yeah, yeah.
Like
You take the discount. Yeah.
I've personally not been taking him. Like I have like 6% because I wasn't positive Dobbins was going to sign, but I've been kind of waiting because I was expecting Dobbins to sign. So
Yeah.
So I'm glad that happened. I got I was at 0% Dobbins for a little while, and I got him up to like 14%. So like I feel pretty good about it.
I think that, yeah, no, I like it. I think it affects, the estimate and McLaughlin way more. And so I'll happily take that discount on RJ Harvey as well.
Yeah. Cody has to be in shambles.
That's right. He's an estimate guy.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good, it was a spot that there was open carries for sure.
Sure.
He was absolutely right.
Right.
Welcome, Anthony and Mike Robb, Fanspeak Network representing here.
That's right. Yeah. Mike Robb's our chat lord. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So if you're I wish I had. So StreamYard, I can't actually present. Can I present from a? Yeah, it won't let me present from a Mozilla browser. So.
Did you want me to present my article?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we could do that. That would be a lot easier. I thought it'd be easier to let you explain and then me to.
Okay, I think it's up there. So yeah, but yeah, I wrote an article. My marathon rankings are actually going to be updated later this evening, as well as my classic rankings. Steve and I have rankings for all the different formats, and that will complete with Sprint soon, and DraftKings and Drafters as well. So we'll have all the sites, all the formats. But I have my marathon rankings up. They'll be updated today. I did a strategy article, and yeah, that right there kind of highlights why I had a top 150 finish, because I'm hitting the quarterback 2, the RB1, the RB4, our wide receiver 9, 13, 17, 19, tight end 1, tight end 4. That's kind of what you're looking for here. Again, looking to hit those parlays on that. I do think, scrolling down on the article, there are some other strategies to consider. You do want to probably bump down some players and I will constantly be adjusting that in rankings, push maybe rookies that may take a little more time for that post-buy rookie bump. It's not to say you don't draft them. The price has to be right. And you probably don't want to draft, like I did some big board drafts, or I've done plenty of other classic contest drafts where I'm drafting like 6 or 7 rookies. Okay, well, this might not be the contest for this. In this particular contest, I had Ladd McConkey. Obviously, there were many other rookies you could have drafted, but I don't know that this is a contest you want to go super overweight on rookies. Just also be very careful with players coming back from injury, the Chris Godwins of the world, or just injury-prone players. That's a risk, obviously, just your risk, your own risk assessment, do how risk-adverse you are. But for me, yeah, you better get the discount on it to Tagovailoa. You are, but how much do you want to hit your portfolio when, pretty skeptical he plays all 17 games. So, it's those kind of things that, yeah, you can take the discount and draft players like that. Just make sure the price is right. And maybe don't go too overweight on those kind of players.
Yeah. I made a major mistake last year. On that specific contest, on Underdog, I don't feel as bad as I was big onto Jonathan Taylor on all formats, or not Jonathan Taylor, Jonathan Brooks.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I felt like he was definitely going to start week 6, because that, they kept getting positive reports and he would probably play, but I kind of thought that was going to happen. And I thought that his price was if he was fully healthy, it was a 4th round pick and you were getting a discount for the back half of the season. But I also didn't build the teams correctly around that, because he needs to be the 3rd or 4th guy if you're going to have somebody that's injured like that, number one, because because you can get so far behind, you can't win in this style of format. Right. So that was something I know that I done wrong. So,
yeah. Right.
So that's kind of what you're saying with the rookies and starting slow. So it hit both. He was a rookie and he was hurt. So
he was hurt. Right.
So, absolutely. And then like DeAndre Hopkins also, I was heavy on him, and then he had that nagging injury in preseason. Same with Jalen Warren. But as they went down the board, I had a lot of exposure to them. I just kept clicking them because they were cheaper now. There were mistakes I made. I recognize those mistakes. I'll talk openly about them, because
I made plenty of mistakes too.
I don't want other people to make those mistakes.
Right. And I also think it's not to say that you can't if you like drafting zero RB, I'm not saying you can't do a form of it. Like, it's not like you have to draft a running back in the first couple, but you have to have projectable volume running backs. This isn't one where, we all know how zero RB can hit in classic contests, right? But in this one, unless there's like a rash of starting running back injuries early, that would be really, really hard if you were like a full zero RB and didn't like draft your first running back till like round 8 or 9. That would be tough. Like it just, you're going to need, I obviously hit on Saquon and Jacobs from a player take standpoint and them doing amazing on their new teams, but you just also need some kind of projectable volume, especially at the running back position. So I just think it's also like, for the different contests, you want to know, just like you and Steve have talked through a lot of super flex stuff, just know what is important in those contests.
Right.
And in this one, week 17, we care about it, but we care about the exact same amount as we do weeks 1 through 16. Like every week means the exact same in this one. No week matters more.
So I want to get to a couple things. Number one, we still need 4 more. It is a 30-second marathon. And number 2, DJ Quill here asked, Nick Chubb or Dobbins? I am 100% on the Dobbins side. Nick Chubb to me is like a possible round 18 click now. I don't care how high he goes up. Like I'm not going to be taking him if he's like a 15th round pick. Like I just won't have any myself. I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I would agree with that statement. It's Dobbins over Chubb for me, but I'll probably sprinkle a little of both. They both seem like they, almost like an insurance policy on both teams. If there are some injuries, I think they would get more work over obviously the other guys there. But again, I think it's more bumping down the other guys. Honestly, some of the, the estimates, that rookie that Texans drafted.
And it's not dropping down the number ones. These signings aren't going to affect the number ones. They're going to affect the number 2s and 3s.
Right.
And I mean, if you want some Dobbins, I think Dobbins will rise all the way up to like where Najee goes by the end of the offseason. I could see that, or at least where like Ray Davis goes.
Right.
Based on how everybody drafts everything from the Sean Payton offense, like on the running back side, I just think that there's a lot more room for that side to go up. So if you're trying to get ahead of it a little bit and you have to choose between one, I would definitely, and you want both, I would definitely be choosing Dobbins when it's a heads up choice right now.
Right. Yeah, no, I'd agree with that for sure. But yeah, I mean, I covered kind of like everything in the article that I kind of consider from the players that you bump down every week means the exact same. I've kind of forced a stack with Josh Allen. Now, granted, it was the wrong one, and the Bills are, unique in that they spread the ball around so much. But I don't think you need to overforce stacks. I think you want to stack really good offenses and use that like as a tiebreaker. I kind of covered the, double anchor or just making sure you have projectable volume at running back. And then position allocation. I think one interesting point that surprised me, Steve and I went through top 100 teams on BBMD, thankfully before, I know they're doing an update to BBMD, but we went through the top 100 teams. And, even in a year where quarterbacks stayed healthier, 14 quarterbacks in 2024 played all 17 games for their team. That was 9 and 10 the years prior. There was just less, quarterbacks missing games than we had the 2 prior years. Even with that, 3 quarterback builds in the top 100 were 54 out of 100. 2 quarterback builds were 44 out of 100, and there was 2 4 quarterback builds in the top 100. So I think what that says to me is, yes, if I draft an elite, I will consider doing 2, but I still am going to lean into my whole 3 quarterback as long as the price makes sense, because I think you kind of like how you see, and I know Superflex obviously is its own unique beast with obviously the quarterback meaning so much to start in 2 positions. But I just think if you can dominate at the quarterback and running back position in half-point PPR scoring, just like I think, honestly, if you can dominate in the receiver position in full-point PPR, I just think it's like, again, know where we're playing for touchdown hunting, and, quarterbacks and running backs, their scoring means a lot in half-point PPR. And if you can dominate those positions, that's how I'm going to lean into this contest. I think people would say, well, you could have drafted someone over, Will Levis or Kirk Cousins. I mean, Kirk Cousins put up, he had a couple massive games that it counted for a good chunk. Will Levis, obviously he was filling in my bye week, but based on my late round picks, I don't know that I could have done better. You really want to be ideally not whiffing at those positions.
I mean, and a lot of it isn't even getting the best spot, like the best overall player for the year. It's just getting the people who spike well with the other people you have.
Right.
Like if the same two people spike at tight end the same weeks, they're bad picks together, even though they smash by themselves. Right.
Right. Yeah. And I've seen some, I wish I could cite who it was who did some breakdowns on Twitter, kind of analyzing like the matchups of different weeks. I believe I think it's Good Guy Grant had taken my marathon and showed how the teams kind of like oscillated the scoring. And I think a lot of times the way my team was built, again, on half point PPR, a running back was hitting my flex. But it did kind of show who counted which weeks and that kind of stuff. And that's interesting, because you just don't want to. I think that was the other good, the point that I want to find in this article is the bye weeks, or like making sure that you are, scoring well and not having like a just awful 70, 80 point week. My lowest scoring week in this particular team was 113. My highest scoring week was 182. My average was 138. So, I was kind of considering bye weeks. You want to make sure you're not too thin at any one position, any given week, to account if there's some injuries and some holes in the team. And so I think that kept from having like a 70-point week, 80-point week. That's just going to make it hard to catch up to stay in the, in that top 200, 150, 150, if you're, chasing the top prizes and wanting that week 17 sweat.
Yeah, and like you need to have the ability for elite ceiling weeks too, because
you're right.
Those elite ceiling weeks are the ones that start separating you from like to let you catch up, because like it's total points throughout the season. So like it's not just getting through your pod or anything,
Right.
So like the team that I had that finished 150th had three weeks in a full PPR. Had 3 weeks over 200 points, but then it had like 2 weeks under 110.
Right.
So like those 3 weeks absolutely destroyed me,
Right.
So, or the 2 weeks, the really low ones it hurts you way more.
Right.
Because you like in the tournament structures, you just have to get to top 2 in your
top
pod.
2. Right.
So like it's hard to survive like a floor week, like a really bad week, but you can come back from it because you don't have to get to number 1 overall. Like this isn't just against your pod. This is against every team that's drafted on the site.
Right. And that's why I know, top prize is just 100,000. By the way, I would love to win $100,000. So it is also half the size. And again, I'm sure I'll sprinkle some drafters. I know you play drafters. My brother plays drafters. I think drafters is a great site. Again, I'm leaning more into this because I just like half point PPR scoring more. But it also is half the size of the drafters contest. So I believe the drafters, you're competing with 100, almost 150,000. This is, I believe, is this 75,000 total entries? Whatever it was about half.
It's 75,000.
Right. And so I think you're competing against almost double on the drafters site. Again, great site. Love it. This is, I'm just leaning into, I'm competing against about half the field size. And then, it's still, I think what the third or fourth place prizes in drafters is the first place here. And it's pretty flat payout structure from there. So I like that. So that's kind of why I'm particularly leaning into, underdog marathon in that. But you're competing against everybody. So, but I think people will say, oh, what chance do you really have to have a week 17 sweat? I think if you have a good team that stays healthy, and again, the luck comes in and you need your guys to stay healthy. If your team stays relatively healthy and you're rewarded on really good player takes, I think you can have a week 17 sweat. I wasn't sweating having, a top 10 and a massive score last year, but it was still fun to sweat this team out that won $700.
Yeah. I lost all my, like my team came on late. It was a Devontae Adams team, so
Oh,
like
okay, nice.
so like I literally went from like the last 4 weeks, I went from like 2000s to 150th. Like I just crushed the back half of the season. And
Right,
that was
right.
even when Taysom Hill was hurt. But like so like and early in the season I did have a big sweat uh at like week 10 over there on drafters in their super flex. I was number 6 or 7, but
Yeah.
it was a Dak Prescott Baker Mayfield team with CeeDee Lamb, and well,
Mhm.
Dak got hurt the week before Baker's bye, so I had no quarterbacks going
Oh,
into
that's
that
rough.
that week.
Yeah, it's rough.
So
Yeah.
I got dominated that week. I still finished top 200. I mean, it was only like 6,000 people or something, but like that's still fine, you know.
Right, right.
But yeah, hey, we're down to 3, still waiting on 3. These things do take forever. I've sat there for like on sprint and marathon for like over an hour.
Right. I think
But
it's good they removed what they did. They removed the 20-second options to not like,
oh, I didn't
um,
notice that.
I think they did. I think that hopefully that helps, just to fill one fast draft, basically. Um, I see my brother. I saw Nick look like he's in. Hopefully Steve gets in if he, I saw
Down
he's
to
in.
2.
Okay, there
We're
we go.
close now. Now I'll repost it in pound, and
Yeah.
usually when it gets down that close,
Then you
people
can
like,
get a
yeah,
people. Yeah. Cause then, you don't have to wait much longer.
yeah, yeah. So hopefully, if anybody here knows anybody who likes marathon, shout them out.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Steve's in, Nick's in. That's good to see.
I
Um,
I did notice, like, so I use your original rankings where you had Mooney up way too high. Yeah, and Steve called you out on it. So I was actually just talking with somebody, not paying attention, just using the rankings and kind of clicking. Like I wasn't paying any attention. I was just kind of doing one to get my 7 in.
okay. Right.
And
Yeah.
they're like, "Why'd you take Mooney 20 spots before ADP?" I'm like, "Oh, I guess I did." I was like, I was just talking with somebody, just kind of chilling, like not really paying attention to the draft, and not that that's a good thing to be doing, but that's
I
what
was
I
gonna say
did.
I put that in disclaimers for Steve and I's rankings, like, try to pay attention to
Yeah,
ADP, see where you
yeah,
feel like you're getting values and that kind of
but
stuff. But yeah, sometimes people are just drafting off, off pure rankings. I totally get that. But yeah, Mooney. Oh no,
Mer
Mooney wasn't. I was gonna say Mooney wasn't on this team. I thought he was,
yeah,
but he was on my Bulldog team because I knew I was
uh,
having a Mooney sweat.
marathon is total points, so it's the underdog's version of what drafters does.
Yeah.
So I did notice that you had all of your all the quarterbacks, like the elite quarterbacks, very high. Like you pulled a couple of them up into the second round. I What's your take on that? Like I'm curious because so the number 1 team last year, the most of those top teams all had like Baker Mayfield on there, right? Like the top 10.
Right. Yeah. Because I mean,
So
obviously he massively,
right,
massively
right.
outperformed.
I was surprised to not see very many of those teams having Bo Nix because Bo Nix smashed and he was super late, and Cortland Sutton was reasonably good. Like I guess Sutton never really spiked, so
Well, and
like
again, I always use Fantasy Pros, the total, the total finish, right? So like, for instance, where did Bo Nix finish in total points? Because I mean, he
oh
too was going very, very late. I'm doing a quick, like, I didn't change the settings or anything to like 1 through 17, but on half point PPR QB, Bo Nix was 7th. So Baker was 4th with, because here we're not, looking at the fantasy points per game. We're looking at total points. And that's why obviously if you stay healthy for 17 games, that's a big, big help. But Baker finished literally 0.1 behind, and this is full 18, or excuse me, weeks 1 through 18, but 381.8, just 0.1 behind Burrow. So he was essentially matched Burrow for 3rd. Nix was about less than 60 points behind QB7
yeah,
on the season.
yeah.
So
I just
yeah,
brought that up. This is Pro Football Focus's numbers, but man, like Lamar smashed.
oh yeah,
He
yeah,
had 50 more points than number 2.
Right, right. Oh yeah, no, he absolutely smashed. As
And
far as like the elite, I think that's a great point. I mean, I was actually, my underdog wasn't loading well on desktop, so I wanted to pull up like where just the rank. I mean, they do go much. Quarterbacks in general go higher. Elites go higher in marathon contests than the classic. And so I want to say, let me pull it up now, based on their ADP. So their ADP is Allen's 22, Lamar's 25, Jaden's 32, Hurts 40, Burrow 47. I basically want to be with around that because I don't want to miss out on the elites. That's not to say I'm going to go, have 25% of all the elites. I'm not. But I want to be overweight all the elites. So that's why I have them ranked as high as I do. And then honestly, I'm ahead on all the quarterbacks because again, if I'm going to value anything in half point PPR scoring, I want to make sure I'm very happy with my quarterbacks and running backs total scoring for the season.
Yeah, I actually didn't realize that the ADP was that high. Like just the flat ADP was that high.
It's much. I mean, I know it started like ridiculously high, but it's now settled at probably where it should be. Josh Allen going at the 2-3 turn. Lamar going right around there. Jaden solidly in the third, and then it Hurts and Burrow more at like the 3-4 turn. So everybody's all the quarterbacks are higher in this. And so, and whether it's hitting an elite and then a second one or an elite and 3 or hitting my favorite that I've done in a lot of the classic contests, 3 quarterbacks in that window of rounds 8 through 13. There are 20, I wrote it in an article recently. I believe there's over 20 starting quarterbacks in that range. And not many of them have bench risk either. And that's even before the Aaron Rodgers, obviously official news, that I would now add that in there because I think he deserves to move up. I'll be, again, adjusting my rankings today for both marathon and classic. But, there are so many quarterbacks in that window that you can hit 3 quarterbacks and feel really solid that they should oscillate to give you really nice scores.
And there's a really good mix in there between like potential like huge spike people and like floor plays. Like
right.
And I mean I consider Jared Goff a floor play, but it's honestly not true. Wasn't he quarterback like top 3 quarterback like 4 times or something last year?
Yeah, I believe so. And then, if we're looking at total scoring, again, I have just the full season half point PPR. Jared Goff was QB6, basically right behind Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, the spikes matter more, right? But Sladen here saying that his brain's mush after doing the Shepherd. I don't know if you were here. He was in here as we started, but I'm reeling from that as well.
Well, multi-tabling. What did you multi-table? Like 17? You said
it was 13 of them.
Okay,
but what made it really bad was the fact that all those slows popped up and they don't have a different window.
Right.
So I had to find them. Like they
do. Yeah, that's difficult. Yeah,
they have to pop to the top, but I don't know. Like the way to do it is you do it from that screen, like the first screen, right? You just click somebody to put in your queue, and then
right.
The problem is that every time I went to click start, or I went to click their name to go down and click draft, it would like refresh and it would lose it. So like I couldn't actually clear it either. So,
that's so frustrating.
I mean, it was my fault for doing 13 of them. So
I can't. I mean, I'm not surprised that it filled already, but that's awesome.
Yeah. I while we're waiting, so what's your take? Do you like to go elite running back and go a onesie running back and then push it a little bit, or do you like to get 2 and then to like wait a long time?
I like to get 2. Again, it doesn't have to be first round, second round, and it could be second and fourth, something like that. But yeah, I would say at least 2 in the first 6 rounds for sure, is because then again, when I'm talking about getting projectable volume, and quite honestly, probably 3 in the first 7 or 8, because then again, if I'm building for it, running back to hit the flex, then I want that projectable volume. Then I'm going to stop at 5. Again, yeah. I joke that 3-5-7-3 is kind of my favorite build. And while I will adjust some on marathon when I do, an elite quarterback or an elite tight end, I will adjust and do some 2 at the 1Z positions. I'll still have a lot of 3-5-7-3 because I think that that's a nice balance. If you're being smart about bye weeks, you should have some balance to protect you. If there are some like short-term injuries, if you have a long-term injury to like a high drafted, a top 3 or 4 round pick, you're probably in trouble. But if it's say one of your top running backs is out for 3 weeks, then you can still live through that if built correctly. So yeah, I just want that projectable volume, and so I'm probably drafting 3 running backs, 2 in the first 6 and 3 in the first 7 or 8 because I want that projectable volume.
Oh, that makes sense. And like I mean, at least last year, we got a lot more spike week style players at wide receiver at the end. Like, I don't know if he was on your team, but one of the better picks on the board last year for this, at least I'm assuming the picks on this site and the other site were the same because, the way it scores is the same. But Demarcus Robinson,
right,
he had several really big weeks.
Right.
And getting him at the end of the draft, like, just completely helps out your team. It just by so much. Hey, we have a filled lobby.
All right. We have a full marathon. Let's go.
Well, it's not a super flex, and I know that because Steve is not in the top 4 picks. All right. We have the 7 spot.
Okay.
Sladen's got the 8. Steve's got the 12. Nick's got the 3.
Nice.
I don't know. I don't think I know anybody else in here, but if you are, go ahead and let us know.
I mean, Steve, you made a good point in our marathon that Steve and I drafted last Thursday. I kind of like the back half of the draft in marathon. Oh, yeah. I honestly like it in general, but I like it now because again, you're getting 2 kind of studs. So Steve's joking rigged, but I mean, honestly, I love the 12 spot.
Well, so 2 years ago, the year that CMC absolutely destroyed fantasy football.
Yeah.
Where the nuts was actually CD Lamb and Amon-Ra in the tournament style, right?
Right.
In drafters and those style contests, it wasn't even Amon-Ra and CD Lamb. It was I think it was it was Amon and AJ Brown, I believe, was the first place teams.
Okay.
It was one of those with AJ Brown instead. And AJ Brown spiked better. Like he was pretty close to them, but he wasn't, but he spiked, but like he had his bigger weeks on the weeks that other player didn't. So like, that's what I was talking about finding players that just go together well. Like there's no way to know.
Right.
But like that ends up being a little more important in this contest. So.
Right. Yeah. And like you said, there's no way to know that. So really we just want to be, I kind of think about like in December when they write an article. Okay, so we're up in 1.
Yeah.
I would say I'd be fine with McCaffrey, Gibbs, or Lamb here. I mean, I've been leaning into a lot of McCaffrey just because I think he has a path to RB1. But quite honestly, I like Lamb too. So I'll let you pick between those 2. Definitely one of those 2 for me.
So I'm going to go ahead and go Lamb because I think the running backs that come back around are better.
Okay.
Than the wide receiver. Because there's there's a very decent chance that when it comes back around, like Ladd and AJ Brown go and Drake London all go on this side of the board. And then you have to start running back. And like, I'm also like still scared of it. See Christian McCaffrey from last year.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm probably taking him too much. But I think he has one more kind of really elite year that honestly in big board we were getting him early 2nd round. Now it's definitely firmly like kind of 7 through 12 here. And I'm fine, especially in the marathon, that he could be RB1, so I don't mind drafting him here in the middle of the first even. But I totally get the fear, that concern, and I love Lamb too. I think that Dallas is going to throw at an exceptionally high rate. Look at their running backs; they're disgusting. So
Right.
I just think they're going to be throwing a lot for multiple reasons, and I really like Lamb in this format too.
And I mean, Lamb fell a pick, and
Yeah.
I believe in both formats that the top 6 should be the top 6. I
Mhm.
don't think like the neighbors pull up, like that's fine, but like I think that there is a top 6, and I think that unless you're just trying to get unique,
Yeah. Right.
like you should stop like those 6 players minus neighbors should always be picked in those spots.
Yeah, I
Uh,
agree.
like so I think if you get a slight fall on any of those players, like and I don't take much Barkley, but I do agree that at the 6th spot, like I have him rated at 6, but I do agree he's in that group. Like
Sure. Oh yeah.
even though I'm fading him for the most part, like I just think that like he goes higher on the full PPR sites. Like I don't get that. Like him and Henry on both of the full PPR sites go higher.
Really? Okay. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm really not much on DraftKings and DraftKings.
Yeah. So
So I would say, I mean, honestly, I know I said we don't, but I mean, a McConkey fall does feel, I mean, because we're getting McConkey at what, 18?
yeah, I mean that's at his ADP, but
Right.
I mean
Okay. Okay. So
either one.
I would go I'd go McConkey or Jacobs, but I'll leave it up to you. Either one is fine with me.
I'll go ahead and go McConkey. This is probably a little more rare. Like it's probably not that rare, but like I'm gonna guess that Jacobs gets paired up with CD quite a bit.
Right. Yeah.
There's a player I love that should be available to us right there.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm assuming that you all like. I feel like a lot of us like that are streaming all love this player. So
Okay. All right.
um, like
I'm
I don't.
interested to hear who it is, and I'm sure I agree with like a
Yeah.
ton of your takes, so I'm sure we'll be in agreement there.
So I don't know. Like has the I don't know the actual information. I need to look through drafters on it, but and Big Draft Energy may know if
Oh, because
he's
he's a
still in
big
here.
drafter,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
he does a lot with them. Like he knows the
Oh,
like
nice.
he
Okay.
works with them as well.
Gotcha.
So they I believe a drafter's winner has never taken an RB in the first round, like the first seed.
Okay. So
Uh,
they've never taken a first round running back, like the
yeah,
team
I
that's
think
won
it's
every year.
always been a wide receiver,
And
but
I mean, that checks out to me
I could be wrong.
again, on drafters, right? Like, I mean, that's full
Yeah,
point PPR. That makes a ton more
right.
sense to me to
Yeah,
draft.
and yeah, there's a big difference between the way the points would lay out.
Right, right. Okay, so
Well,
three quarterbacks do go. Not surprising. This is typical for marathon.
I mean,
So who was the running back that you were thinking of?
that one.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with him there. I mean, I think that's totally fine. But to have Higgins
Yeah,
fall there, though, is I know we talked about we can still catch up at running back.
the only
Higgins,
issue is the double week 10 bye, but that's a minor issue.
yeah, we're going to take 6 or 7 receivers, depending, unless I mean, so I mean to have Higgins fall to what 30 is that 32, 31?
Yeah, 31.
Yeah, I would go Higgins there.
I would too, but I didn't want to bully you out of your running backs.
No, we'll catch up. I mean, I'll still stick to making sure we get those projectable volume. I will be very.
So I love the running backs in round 5 and 6. Like
yeah, no, there's a lot.
Those running backs there to me, like I think that the wide receivers have a lot of questions. I think that you have a pretty clear path on most of the running backs. And Judkins in this format tends to fall down to about where we go, like where we're going to pick down here. I don't know. Like I get, like I don't, and maybe I'm wrong. I don't really fear that he's going to start slow. I don't think there's a way they don't have him out week 1 for the bell cow row. role.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the only thing that I've bumped down Judkins for is just the team he plays on
Yeah.
and the lack of touchdowns that I think they're going to get. And again, like
Yeah. Right.
on half point PPR scoring, I do want to attack those good offenses. I mean, Chuba Hubbard obviously he was on my team last year and finished RB9. He was
Yeah. He was going
RB 12. But he was going a little late. What was he around? Like round
12, 13, right?
Yeah, 12. Yeah. So that, I mean, he finished to fit RB 12. That's the kind of stuff we're looking for in those mid to late round picks. Johnny was tight end 4. We were getting him so late last year.
Yeah. So so he said correct. It's more about ROI in round 2 and 3, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
There was 2 teams with CMC in the top 100, only 2, none of them above 70 that year.
Wow. That's crazy. But again, I get the format. Like, I'm sure, I can't remember if they did a marathon 2 years ago and if last year was the first year marathon on Underdog. But if they did, I would imagine there would have been more CMC teams that year. It also might have been the combos that you were getting.
Yeah,
like
that's
you
what
said,
it was. It was more about like the wide receivers that were really smashes. None of them ever made it back to where he was.
Right.
Well, this does not look great. But
we do have Joe Burrow. I mean, again, running, this is a guy who, when he stays healthy, he has been, I know people debated I'd go Burrow since we have Higgins. Again, I know what I said about we can still get our running backs. I will not leave this room without, 3 projectable volume running backs. And if we do a different, like if it does, it doesn't mean that we couldn't build a 3-6-6-3 or something like that, or
I think that pick had to be either Burrow or Kittle, one or the other.
Right.
Because I don't think taking the 4th wide receiver,
no.
And I don't think pulling up any of those running backs
made sense. Yeah.
Like it was way too high to pull anybody up. So
and this just shows the whole let the room fall to you. Like, typically, do I like to have 1 or 2 running backs by now? Of course I do. But like, again, as long as I'm still probably getting 2 in the top 6 and 3 in the it probably top 8, like I'm okay with it. You got to let the room come to you.
I think McConkey has he has an opportunity to be one of the better picks on the board.
I do too.
I mean, he might just be a really good advancement piece, but like there is a chance that they end up like their defense isn't as good and they end up behind a little bit, and then he's just breaking fantasy because he is the clear alpha over there. Trey Harris is going to be fine, but like he's not going to contend with the role that Ladd McConkey has.
Right. Damn it! I do love Travis Hunter here. This is like so we got Hunter, and then then there is a good pocket of running backs here. Yeah. So
based on how this has went, maybe we should have went CMC, but like I'm fine with it still.
No, I'm totally fine. So I would say, honestly, Hunter, Metcalf, Mixon, RJ Harvey. I mean, I don't know how far he's going to fall in this. Like, I think all are in contention for this pick.
It's up to you.
We'll be back up in how many?
11 picks.
I mean, that's still a good pocket of.
Okay.
Let's go. I think Travis Hunter, he's a rookie that I do think could massively outperform. And this just might be a different build, whether it's 2 quarterbacks or 6 receivers, because we went 4 in the top 6. Just like again, yes, I like 3-5-7-3. I like having certain running back, but as long as we're still getting, I don't think we're going to get totally boxed out on running back here as with these next few picks.
I agree, Slayton. Like Kittle's such a good pick. You really
is.
Yeah. Yeah, so if like Saquon was a first rounder last year, I think it would have paid off. Yeah, because so I don't think so. I think it still would have been Jamar Chase, and the reason I think that is because I'm going to look it up real quick. Points per game, Jamar Chase was 4 full points over number 2, over Justin Jefferson, who was number 2 in points per game. Yeah.
So I was just
Or
looking at
wait,
running
no,
back
no.
total points. So Saquon total points was 338. Again, this is full season, not weeks 1 through 14. So 1 through 17.
Yeah.
And
It was.
Chase was 339. So they were basically the same.
I didn't have it sorted right.
Oh, but okay, but that I didn't think about that. If I do sort by week, excuse me, Saquon sat out week 18. So let me just see if I sort weeks 1 through 17.
Points per game, Saquon and half point PPR was 20. He was like 1 full point over Gibbs.
So weeks 1 through 17, Chase was 318 and Saquon was 338. So, I do think he scored more in the weeks 1 through 17. He did score more in weeks 1 through 17. Yeah. Okay. So Harvey falls to us, I think.
Slayton's picking, so.
Okay.
So I'm assuming he's going to take. You got Baker pretty high, like.
Yeah, I have a lot of those quarterbacks. I mean, Baker was. I really believe he can finish top 5 this year too. So I am very bullish on Baker. Again, not to take him where it doesn't make sense as far as like ADP value, but are you comfortable with Harvey here?
I'm comfortable. If he's going to slide, if he's going to be a pick in this area. Like we got an 11 pick discount on Harvey there.
Yeah. And again, it's just because of, Dobbins signing. And again, we don't really think that affects him as much. So what are our next 2 pick numbers? I'm trying to think because I do want to focus on
79 and 90. So we should be able to get 2 guys. And one of those is somebody who we both love.
Yeah.
You want to pull them up.
Mm-hmm. Fine with that. I know who you're talking about. Do I think he's going to outperform, RB whatever in round 8? Yes, I do. So
yeah. Like I can't do.
Steve, don't be a jerk and take our guy.
Yeah, all the way down here. Like there was no question that that's something that was on the table. Like no matter where we drafted.
Oh yeah, no matter where we drafted. Because again, like I do want to have some big stands, especially the further down, middle, late. I think in marathon, you want to make big stands on, again, your player takes. Yeah. These are the guys that I think are going to outperform their ADP, outperform their positional rank. And, I think Travis Hunter will. I think, and there are some of these are rookies. I think Caleb Johnson can. I think Cam Scatterboot can. So I think RJ Harvey can. So, if I believe that, no, I'm not going to necessarily then do 6 rookies, but I do believe there are certain rookies that I am very bullish to outperform, and I will go way overweight them.
Dobbins is not impacting my Harvey take at all. I actually think it's a good thing. I don't think Harvey was ever able. Like I've never thought that he could be a 3-down work back or 3-down back anyway, like a workhorse 3-down back. I think Jahmyr Gibbs can, but like the way I've always viewed Harvey as a player that is kind of in the mold of the way that Jahmyr Gibbs is used.
Right.
Not like what he can do. Gibbs can do that, and I've always believed Gibbs can do that, but how he is used is kind of what I view RJ Harvey for. Like bring him in to make some explosive plays kind of thing.
Right. I do like Steve's pick of Caleb Johnson. Oh, sorry, finish your about Harvey, but I really am bullish on Caleb Johnson in this format.
Really? I can't get there on Caleb Johnson. I think the Aaron Rodgers thing is even worse for him.
I just feel like my opinion is I feel like he's gonna be that Najee role still, and that Najee role was incredibly valuable. Just high value touches around the goal line. Hope maybe Caleb Johnson's style fits even better that's who I was thinking was Pollard was who I was thinking.
I'm definitely Pollard as well. So. Perfect. Yep. So let's go through the team real quick. It's a 1-2-4 right now through 7 rounds. We got Joe Burrow, RJ Harvey, Tony Pollard, CD, Ladd, Higgins, Travis Hunter. Like we have a lot of firepower at wide receiver. Like I'm going to assume you want to wait to like just tack on 3 like from round 14 plus to try to like, I mean, I guess you let the draft board come to you, but.
Do you mean as far as tight ends?
No, like for the I'm assuming we're still going to go 7 wide receivers. So
Oh,
like,
yeah. If we're going
for the
7,
rest of them, but like just push it till like pretty late since we have 4 studs.
Yes. Yeah, I think you're either doing 3-6-6-3 or 2-6-7-3 or something like that.
I mean, if like Mooney or something was available or next pick, like we could stop at 6.
Right.
Maybe,
but no,
maybe.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I think if you're going 7, then you definitely want to wait there.
Yeah. I'm super like I'm gonna have way too much Joe Mixon and RJ Harvey at the end of this. I got Joe Mixon at 66 yesterday.
Yeah, and that's another one. Like whatever rankings you use, like just know that you take the slide, take the discount on Mixon, on Harvey, and I agree.
Yeah, I agree with this as well. I mean, Harvey already has his role. Like, I don't know. Jaylen Warren, I think, like, there is a way that he could not be on the field as much. But I just wonder about Aaron Rodgers and rookie running backs. Like, that scares me.
Okay. Yeah.
Because, and I think I kind of went over this the other day, and it's not, I don't know all of it. I just know that I've heard that other places that he tends to not like them as much, like just rookies in general. And that's one reason I've kind of stayed away from Caleb Johnson in the entire offseason is because I've been expecting Aaron Rodgers to go there.
I was just going to ask, Steve said Aaron Jones played a good bit. I was just going to ask what Aaron Jones's role was as a rookie.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you want to go Scattaboo?
Yeah, we could do that.
I think we need a third running back we feel really good about.
You talked me into it. I had I was never going to do that.
We're in a room with Steve. I mean, we had another pick before he came back up. So we got him.
Wouldn't it have been great to like get him all the way back here in the room Steve's in? Like
just taunt Steve.
Yeah. No, Nick, I assume Nick would have taken him.
Yeah.
He needs a third as well. So yeah, that was the right call. Like Mooney by just pure ADP was the better pick, but
sure. I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. But the way we structurally built with what was it? Basically 104. We needed to catch up at running back. So often you hear, I got to catch up a receiver,
Yeah.
Well, to be in a half-point PPR, you better catch up at running back too, especially in this format. Again, I know how zero RB can smash, if it breaks right for playoffs, but in this, we need that projectable volume all year. And now we've got 3 guys that I feel good that are going to have a solid role.
Yeah, I have heard this as well, that they've already said that I also think that the Steelers aren't going to win more than 7 games. So
I'm a little more. I feel like I'm in a minority on like still believing Aaron Rodgers has something. He was with the Jets. He was 1 year removed from the Achilles. I'll be interested to see with this offense and DK Metcalf. I'm a little bit more bullish on that maybe they could kind of overperform and have a fun offense this year. But I could, I definitely could be wrong on that. But
no, I 100% could also be wrong. Like Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season. That's what everybody always says constantly.
So what stat? I mean, honestly, a lot of our quarterbacks, I mean, like Herbert, Lawrence, we can get later. Because wait, what number are we at? 103?
Yeah, we're at 103. So like.
And I assume Jordan Meade. Could you click the running back tab really quick? I just wanted to see.
He went to Nick Buck there.
Okay, that was a smart pick. I like that.
I mean, we could do that. I know you're probably not into him, but
I'm not as much. I like Pittman too.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. That gives us like a possible.
So starting 135, it's also another potential quarterback that could overperform if he keeps the job for 17 weeks.
Yeah, and like the Pittman pick, since we didn't love, and like I probably myself would have taken Jaylen Warren there, but like the Pittman pick allows us to where if like We could just take another wide receiver by like round 13 and just stop at 6 too.
Yeah, I
Like
think that
it could,
gives us some optionality.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't mind that pick. Like and I think he works perfectly with the elite
hmm
start that we have
Yeah,
because I don't think he's going to have very many huge spikes, but he's going to give us a floor for the weeks that like the bye
right.
weeks and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
and I think we just have one bye week crossover at receiver right now and
yeah,
none at running back, right?
yeah, we got 2 week 10, and it's also that and Joe Burrow. So week 10 is definitely going to be our weakest week, and
Right,
then we got 2 week 12, but it's crossed over between spots.
right. Okay.
So
Okay. So as far as receiver, there were 2 week 10 receivers, right?
yeah, and then we don't have any overlap on the running backs. So
Okay. That's good. That's
the
good.
one
Yeah.
thing we do have to keep in mind is Dak Prescott's the same bye week as Joe Burrow.
Okay. That's right. Okay. We're looking at potentially, yeah, Dak. We have Dak, Herbert, Lawrence as like potential stack
Yeah,
options here. And I actually should have thought because the quarterbacks do go higher. So though it looks
yeah,
like there was a little quarterback run here. So hopefully, we have
yeah.
some an option we like coming back
So
to us here.
I'm going to assume Slayton doesn't take the guy we want. This guy probably not either. I think. Do we just pull up Herbert here? If
Did Dak already go?
yeah, he went. He
Okay.
went. He went in the round before us.
Okay, that's okay.
So do we?
Yeah, I would say we need. Yeah, I'd go Herbert here
All right,
because there's no bye week intersect with Burrow, right? Yeah.
right.
So
And if we have to stop at 2,
exactly, we can. Yeah.
and we can with this because like Burrow being a round 4 pick, like
Yeah.
you kind of need to draft like you're right. I'm fully like up for adding a guy in the last couple of rounds as well.
I
So
mean, now looking back, I don't know. In hindsight, do you think we should have gone Dak over Pittman? Because there probably was a. I mean, I probably do like Dak better, but it's slight, and I love
well,
Herbert, so I
if
think
we
that's
go
fine.
if we go Dak over Pittman, we we're forced to take a third quarterback because the bye weeks are the same on Dak.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize. Okay, I forgot that they had the same bye
Yeah,
week.
so
Okay, okay,
so
gotcha.
I think this kind of worked out better for us.
Yeah, and I agree with Adam in chat. There's a lot of talk that Herbert started to run a little more when he was healthier.
Well,
There's a lot of
Herbert
talk he could run more, so that is
that
nice, and I do like that a lot.
I've I've been taking him all season because like I'll take a naked Herbert here and there. Like
Yeah,
Herbert falls like I got Herbert at like 145 the other day. Like what?
yeah. I don't get the fall
Like
on him. Yeah,
yeah,
you'll see him fall
okay,
sometimes. I mean, Lawrence, I get the people get frustrated with that, but with the Liam Cohen offense, when I can get like Lawrence in the 140s, that's amazing. I'm
yeah.
scooping that up, especially if I have the stack. And
Well,
yeah, Herbert falls sometimes inexplicably
I
too.
think we have to pull a running back up here
Yeah, I
or
do
take a
too.
tight end. So
No, I like. There's a lot. I like Ray Davis. I like Rashad White.
yeah,
I mean, later I like Austin Eckler, but I think that's a little early because what number are we at?
we are at 127. So we're going to be pulling up whoever we draft
Okay.
anyway. So,
Okay.
but Rashad White just got pulled up to 125. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I don't. What's your stance on taking a backfield like Spears Pollard in marathon?
I probably don't. I probably do it the least in marathon. I would probably do it more in other ones because I like Ray Davis here. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I agree. I was just waiting for you to explain through. And
Yeah, yeah, no. As far as the handcuff, I can see it working more, being more beneficial in the other formats than I can in that. Well, I probably wouldn't do it in Eliminator and this. I'm open to it in like the classic contest, sprint, those kind of things. But I just don't. Mike Robb, because he says Steve and I are going to have like a restraining order, or the Scattergood family
yeah,
is going to have like a restraining order against the Shoup family. No, yeah, it's harder to see to me in marathon just because again you're wanting them to
yeah.
outperform, But there are
But
certain backfields where both
I
backs
would
offer a
I
lot
would
of value.
absolutely do it with the Lions.
Yeah, Lions
You
would be
know,
the one. Lions
and
would be the
but
one. Yeah.
And I think that the Titans are the other backfield.
I
I'm
do
actually
think that
okay
is
doing it.
another one you could
Just
consider. Yeah.
well, number one, they got the Lions guard now.
Right.
So like maybe looking for correlation where it doesn't exist. Uh, but what Mike Robb here doesn't know is I'm not quite the bull, but I am at like 22% on
You're a
Scatterbrain.
Scatamouche though too. You're
Like
not. Yeah.
I'm not
You're
like
not restraining order level, but
yeah
you're a Scatamouche though. Yeah.
yeah
I like it.
I'm just like yeah I'm not there, but
So
uh
this feels good though that we kind of like every room feels comfortable that we have flexibility now to make decisions. I mean, I know
right
we haven't drafted a tight end yet, but again, there's still good tight ends if you want to go tight end here. I mean, honestly, Ferguson, Goddard, likely, I think are all
yes
considerations.
I
So
love these two picks.
yeah,
Like
so you choose your adventure because I like both of them. So yeah, whichever
I
one you lean
think
into
we
more.
take I think I like Goddard.
Since we already have Lamb, I mean, I
Well,
think you can stack
it's
one.
the week 10 bye thing, like
Oh, yeah,
because
yeah, good
we
point.
could flex a tight end in
Good
week
point.
10.
That's a great point, yeah.
So I think just to break that little correlation with it being total points. If it wasn't total points, I
That
think
makes a
it
lot
doesn't.
of sense. No, that's an
Yeah.
excellent point. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And you probably if you could actually see the screen and see the bye weeks, you might have thought the same way, Like so like it is weird being on that side after you do all your own drafts, right? And then you're like
Exactly, totally, yeah,
because I
yeah.
think you hold the controls usually
Yes, I
in
do,
the
yeah, because
yeah.
usually sometimes I'm, like, toggling between screens and Steve's like, "You're on the wrong screen." I'm like, "Well, just trust me, just
Right.
trust me."
Yeah.
We're actually doing Sibling Showdown today. We're traveling this week. Family's actually going to the U.S. Open
Yeah.
on Friday, so excited about that. But so Sibling Showdown is actually tonight, and we're doing a sprint for anybody who's interested in sprint at
Ooh,
7:30.
nice. Do you guys have any like albatrosses or the golf things
I don't know if
live?
Steve does. I don't. I only drafted a couple, and I don't
I
have anything live. But Steve might though. I don't. How about you? Or did you do much
I
PGA
did
baseball?
0. I have
Okay,
no
yeah.
idea. Like I have no idea.
I just did a couple for fun, and I had one that made it past the Masters, but I lost it in the
I bet it would be
PGA.
pretty awesome to be there live having actual stuff like
Yeah, yeah. Steve
going.
will have to let us know if he has any live ones. I'm not sure if he does or not. But I definitely might play some more DFS this week than I typically do, just for
I
extra
mean,
fun. Yeah, I have him ranked really high, but I mean, I
it,
absolutely love Gasecki as a second tight end.
it's a stack and it would break the idea of the week the core but it actually like if we took Ferguson we couldn't take him either. I mean,
Right.
this is a reasonable fall on Hollywood Brown. It,
Yeah.
it'll,
How
it,
soon will we be back up for Gasecki? Because I do love the Gasecki pick.
um, we're right in the middle of the board. So we
Yeah,
picked
that's
at
true.
162. His ADP is 168. So we can take him if you want.
I'd say take him. I
Okay.
really am bullish that Gasecki's going to
Well,
outperform, the
and
ADP, the ranking.
so something you were discussing earlier, and I was going to reply, but I didn't get around to it. So like you were talking about like the team stacking stuff. From my experience, and I didn't actually notice on your team, but it feels like skinny stacks, like
Mhm.
2 or less is way better for marathon because you need those players to hit, right?
Yeah,
Some,
and
and
kind of
they're
like
less likely to hit together.
right.
Like if there's 3 of them,
Yeah,
right?
because
Like
in
you're never gonna get
classic, you
3
can
of
kind
them.
of oscillate it, as for advancement through the
Yeah.
playoffs, right? With this, it's like you need them to just outperform where you're drafting. Now, I think it's just all then price matters. So obviously last year you could do it with the Bengals because the pricing was more spread out. You could do Chase and Burrow and then Chase Brown later. That makes sense. You could do it with like the
Yeah.
Bucks because again, prices are spread out. But if it's like condensed pricing, like all very
Yeah.
expensive pricing, then that's where I don't think it works as
Yeah,
well.
like the T. Higgins, Jamar Chase stuff is probably okay, but I
I
don't
don't
think I
like it
want to.
as much in
Yeah,
marathon. Yeah, I think I'd either want like Burrow Chase teams, Burrow Higgin teams, and then if you want to tack on, the Gasecki, even if you did want to tack on Chase Brown, even though that's very early too. but I don't know about both receivers in the marathon format. Because honestly, Higgins missed what for a few. I can't remember how many weeks he missed, but last year. But
he played 12 weeks, I believe.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so here is interesting because we really have flexibility to do whatever we want, honestly.
I think I kind of want running back.
Yeah, I agree. So, I mean, I do like Braylon Allen in this range, but what running backs stand out to you in this range?
I'm fine with any of them, really. Bye week wise, he fits perfectly as well.
I think that's nice because we have 5, and then
It's either
I
that
think
or
we
Shipley.
could. Yeah, I think we could go. I like Braylon Allen in this. I
Okay.
just think at this price he should get enough work.
And
then if there is an injury to Breece Hall, then of course then he could really massively outperform this.
I know though, like everybody's all about Breece Hall right now, I am, and we ended up not taking Breece, so double down on that bet.
It's
right?
kind of a double down on that bet, yeah, for sure.
But like, there is still, like, nobody's talking about it now, but pre-draft I was mentioning it some. Like, there's a outside shot that Breece Hall gets traded mid-season if the Jets are like
Right.
2-5 going into the trade deadline.
Sure, yeah. That makes a ton of sense, I think, and I think that's fine as a Breece Hall drafter, but then that's really nice as a Braylon Allen drafter.
Right, and yeah, there's a world that both of them could work.
Yes, I agree. I definitely agree with that.
Steve's going through all the offensive linemen. Dan Moore, Zeitler, Cushenberry, Dante Latham they drafted last year. He looked good, but he was a rookie last year. And I just think that they're going to run the hell out of the ball. Cam Ward will actually run enough to open up some lanes and stuff, probably.
Wow, Daniel Jones and Aaron Rodgers both went. I mean, I don't mind
and
it.
Stafford's available.
Yeah. We don't have Stafford stack unless you wanted to back it with like a Tutu Atwell or Ferguson tight end or something. But
I was going to say Tyler Higbee, but I'm fine with Dobbs here.
I like. I like Dobbs. I like Mason Taylor a lot. Dobbs is fine with me to get that because that would be our 7th.
Yeah, Mason Taylor is the same bye week as Goddard, if that matters.
Yeah, no, let's do Dobbs. I like that. So then, what's our build number now? What
we have a 2-5-6-2.
Okay. Yeah, it feels good to get that 6th receiver there. That's good.
And I probably want to add a 7th, but if we absolutely had to, and I don't think we'll be there, we could stop with that. Dobbs and Pittman is a good floor for the rest of that group. I think we need a 7th, but
and I think what's nice the way we built with the 2-6-6-2 or 2-5-6-2 is you could honestly stop any because we have how many picks left? 3 or 2?
We have
3 picks left. So you could stop 2 tight ends, 2 quarterbacks, 5 running backs, 6 receivers. We have optionality here to just make our best picks, I think, or find the value. I thought a Daniel Jones might fall. We obviously had a stack there. It didn't work out that way. But if something falls that makes sense, I think we can just lean into that and not feel forced on shark. I probably, again, just liking that you kind of want to build with the running back to hit the flex. I wouldn't mind a 6th running back here, but I think we could stop at 2 tight ends with the 2 tight ends we got, and I think we could stop at 2 quarterbacks with the 2 quarterbacks we got.
I'm thinking with Stafford and Darnold both off the board that we don't really have a choice.
Yeah, no. At this point, no. All the late ones that would have been consideration were Stafford falling, Sam Darnold if he fell, he obviously got drafted, and then obviously the late ones went earlier, and I think they should honestly in this format, like a Daniel Jones and Aaron Rodgers. So yeah, I think this is a 2 core. So I think a 2-6-7-3 is totally works for this type of build.
Yeah. So I personally love Mason Taylor as well.
Yeah. And so I know it intersects with with Goddard, you said.
Yeah, it's the same bye week as Goddard, but I'm fine with Mason Taylor or Will Shipley here. Will Shipley, since we didn't pick our first running back till late, like would feel really good to stop there. And
Uh,
since two of them are rookies as well, because
yeah, why don't we do Will Shipley just to get another? Like I said, I felt like this did need to be a 6
his
running back team, and like
his contention upside is like
massive. Yeah.
I think he's a good player.
Oh, I do too.
Like
Yeah. I think he's gonna, he's gonna have that Gainwell role. I think he's gonna get more involved this year, even, and have a little value on his own. So yeah, I like
yeah,
that.
and on this, Dallas is definitely the answer. Like or even Washington. Like I know
Oh, for
where
Brees
Washington,
Hall idea. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Dallas
if
or
Brees Hall
Washington.
went there, uh I mean, Brian Robinson couldn't really stay healthy last year, right? Like he was continually banged up. Like he played and then like started games and got hurt. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
there's a lot of that going on. Eckler is older. He's been through injuries last few seasons as well.
Yeah.
So there's an avenue to where they end up needing somebody. They're 9-3 or what? I don't know when the trade deadline is. It used to be week 7. I believe it's like week 10 now or something. I don't
Yeah. I
remember
thought it was
for
a
sure.
little later this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like 5 years ago it switched. I know it used to be week 7. I think it's week 10 or 11 or something now.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Um, but
Or
like,
just like a running back goes down, and that on a
yeah,
playoff caliber team that is not just going to concede it to the backup
yeah,
yeah.
like Kyron. Like if Kyron Williams got hurt and
Mhm.
Jarquez isn't performing,
Right.
like
Right. Right.
something like
Yeah.
that happens.
Yeah. No, I like where we're at right now. Here, because like you said, the quarterbacks got picked. We got 2 solid ones with no bye week interference, so that's
I
fine.
do
And
you like tight end or wide receiver here? I think taking the wide receiver we like more now makes sense.
yeah, who I mean, I
No MBS.
um
I'm fine with anybody. Coker. Noel like is a completely different bye week than everybody else as well.
yeah, I haven't taken much Knoll just because it's such a crowded room, but I mean, I can
Yeah, this
obviously,
room.
but yeah, I mean, tacking that on as a 7th, I'm totally fine with that. Like you
Yeah,
said, no.
that's actually where I've been taking Noel is when it's a 7th,
Hmm.
and like I don't need him. And like with this one, like our bye weeks are staggered very well. We just have
Hmm.
2 weeks in, so his bye week is 6. So if he gets a post bye rookie bump, he should
Right.
be available to like spell our studs.
Right. Like you said, we have a lot of late bye weeks, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So as
And
far
then
as tight ends go
I
here,
actually like tight end as your 18th round pick in Marathon
oh
because I
yeah,
do think there are tight ends that can perform. Conklin Stacks, Theo Johnson should have a starting role. You could even look at the Arroyo Ferguson like rookies that
I
just could massively outperform. I'm very bullish on Arroyo having a big role with Seattle this year.
yeah.
I would probably lean that over the stack of Conklin, even though I
I
love Conklin, but
I
it's.
agree. I take Arroyo all the time when I
Mhm.
if I have 2 veteran tight ends, I've been stacking Arroyo with like every time I have 2 veteran tight ends.
Yeah, same. Yeah, no,
Like if I need another tight end, like
I'm
if
doing
I
a
took
lot of Arroyo. Yeah.
yeah, I think that that's just a good way to do it. What I was saying earlier about Tyler Higbee though is in marathon, I think for over the entire season, I think Higbee's going to play like start at least 10 of the games. So I think that like if you have like a Tyler Warren or a Colston Loveland, I think Tyler Higbee is like a perfect pick with them.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'll be interested to see, like, they seem really excited about Ferguson, but is it kind of more just like,
I mean, it was their first pick in the draft too.
yeah. So I haven't taken Higbee, but yeah, no, I'm 100% Arroyo here. I love that as the
Yeah,
last pick
no,
of the draft.
and we have all of our bye weeks there. We have 2 tight ends to possibly flex in week 10.
Hmm. That's
I
a
mean,
great point
honestly,
too.
like our bye weeks are like perfectly staggered through
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Like the only like Braylon Allen and Will Shipley having the same bye
That's
week
the last
literally
two,
doesn't
right,
matter,
right, right, right.
So
And then we only had what, one double up in the receiver, two week
yeah,
12s, I think, or
no, 2 week 10s.
2 week 10s. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean, I love this. This is exactly, we were very cautious about the bye weeks, watching that. We stacked up good offenses. We waited on running back, but I still feel like, our first 3 running backs for sure are running backs that we feel like are going to have decent volume.
Yeah.
So even though 2 are rookies, and then we backed it up with guys that aren't just totally contingent backs, that should have some standalone value. But then if anything happens to the back ahead of them, has massive upside. So, and then getting 6, structurally making sure it's right, since we didn't get as early. So no, I like what we did there. And then, I mean, obviously the receiver room's ridiculous. And, and then the tight end room's really fun, considering we didn't take our first tight end till 138.
Do you want to review the team, or would you like me to read it off?
That was kind of my quick summary. Is I loved everything we did, even though we kind of waited on running back. I still really like this team, but read it off.
In case we have audio listeners out there, we got a 2-6-7-3 quarterbacks: Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert. Running backs: RJ Harvey, Tony Pollard, Cam Scatabo, the best pick on the board according to the Shoups. Ray Davis, Braylon Allen, Will Shipley. You got CD Lamb, Lad McConkey, T. Higgins, Travis Hunter, just a dominant start at wide receiver. Michael Pittman, Romeo Dobbs, Jalen Knoll, and then Dallas Goedert, Mike Gesicki, Elijah Arroyo for some fun upside at the end. Yeah, it's a really good team.
I like this a lot. Yeah,
I wasn't, to be honest, I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to dig out a running back, but
I wasn't either. Yeah,
but I think the Pollard pick, we do need one of those 2 rookies to start off reasonably well.
Definitely. That's kind of the key to this for sure. But as long as one or both do, then I think then we feel really good about the running back room. And I know I said be cautious on how many total rookies, and I think we took 4, but that's okay, because again, the 4 we took, we feel confident. 4 or 5 that we took, we feel confident that they can have a solid season-long finish.
Well, so with Knoll,
and then with Knoll and Arroyo, they're our last 2 picks. I mean,
right, they're just there for upside, and because we were solid. Travis Hunter is going to produce early. RJ Harvey's going to produce early. Scatabo, I believe he will, but it is a little bit more of a question just because of the offense.
Right.
But all we need really is for Pollard to definitely be there the first several weeks. And so Ray Davis, yes, we took him really early here. He probably should have been going pretty early anyway. James Cook did end up going to camp today.
Right.
I don't know if you're planning on doing anything else. I'm definitely drafting another one if you need to get out of here.
I wish I could stay for another one. I do have to get out of here. We have a 7:30 sprint show, so I need to do a couple things to prep for that. Or I wish I would.
Is that Central?
Sorry, 7:30 Eastern. So
so in an hour.
In about an hour, we have a
totally got it.
Sprint. So just need to get a couple things done before that. But this was so much fun, James. I absolutely love drafting a marathon. Hopefully we can draft a lot together this summer, and I had a blast. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Shout out the FanSpeak Network. I will, whenever I'm done with my other draft, I will shout you guys out. I'll probably drop the link in for you.
Oh, thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, did it already go to completed?
Yeah. No, I was in the wrong section of drafts. So Steve's said he'll rip another draft with you nice.
before our 7:30 time. So
I'm gonna do. So yesterday we voted twice, and Eliminator got outvoted at the very last second. So we're gonna do an Eliminator tonight.
Nice, very fun. Very fun.
So I figure we just won't leave it up for a vote today. Literally 7 people just left the stream whenever it got outvoted the second time. I get it. I understand.
No, an
But
eliminator is fun to draft too, because
oh
six, just like marathon, we can all like make some money, or a lot of us can make
yeah,
some money. Eliminator 6 to 12, we're moving on. That's kind of fun too, doing a stream
yeah,
draft with
for
that.
streaming, like it makes a lot of sense to do it because you don't like there's no reason to snipe people. Like
No, yeah,
there's
yeah,
none.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
hey, for anybody who is not subscribed over there, FanSpeak, I have all of the all the stuff in the or the descriptions below. They have a Substack. It's if you want to go over that as well. Like you kind of mentioned it at the beginning of the stream, but
Yeah, because that's where my rankings and article are on. But yeah, no, it's just $34.99 for the entire year, not month, a year. And that covers 3 to 4 articles a week. I'll be posting. Steve just posted actually eliminator article yesterday, last night. I think we're posting another Superflex. So you and him are definitely in the Superflex streets. Another Superflex article tomorrow. But no, 3 to 4 articles a week from Steve and I. All the rankings, again, we'll have them all up in the next week or two, but we have, we have marathon, we have Superflex, we have eliminator, we have the classic, we're adding sprint, we're adding DraftKings, we're adding drafters and keeping those updated. And then we'll do some sub-only shows. So again, it's $34.99, $34.99 a year for basically all Steve and I's rankings and lots of articles breaking down player takes, strategies for these different contests, which I think a lot of people are really interested in. I love the classic contest as much as everybody else, but I think you do, just like we talked through this marathon and how you and Steve have talked through Superflex and how you're going to talk through Eliminator here in a minute, you do need to think about these contests very differently to have success in a multi-contest way this year. So yeah, check out our Substack link below, and of course the FanSpeak Network.
yeah, and I believe every time you guys put out an article, you guys also include your rankings in that for that specific contest, correct?
Yeah, well, we update our rankings once or twice a week right now. It'll
Yeah.
obviously be much more often, but we also sometimes post like, oh, we just did a, classic update.
Yeah.
Those kind of things we update when we do the rankings updates right now, as well. So yeah.
Yeah, and like Meg here, you finished what, fourth in the bull, or you finished
Fifth in the fifth in
bulldog?
the bulldog, and then I had the 138 sweat
Yeah,
on marathon.
and then Steve finished fourth
Ridiculous.
in the
Yeah.
big board and
Right.
had many finals teams.
Yeah, I think it was 15
like
or 16 total across DraftKings and Underdog. It was 13 on Underdog, and I think 16 total.
yeah,
And then he had a high drafters finish, I think, in the pre-draft contest. He and Al Boogie finished like 7th, 8th, or 6th, 7th, or
nice.
something like that. Yeah, pretty fun. So yeah, no, I think I like drafting mostly on Underdog. He drafts on all three, but I like attacking some of these other, styles of contests too. So
Yeah,
I think it's good because, sometimes content is only about the classic. And again, while I love the classic and you love the classic, we like attacking some of these other contests too. So
yeah. I like the thought experiment of every contest. So
same.
that's where I'm at. Like the more they add, the more deep I'm gonna get.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly. I totally agree.
yeah,
And what's fun about it is I listen, I still think we can have edge in classic best ball, but I think these other contests lend itself to finding more edges too, because
yeah,
they're also new, so yeah.
yeah. Well, thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. Always a
Appreciate it.
pleasure, Haynes.
Yep,
All
yep.
right. Let's draft again together soon. And thank you so much. Have a great rest of the stream.
All right,
Take it
peace.
easy.
All right, everybody. I'll be entering an eliminator, a 20-second one, and I'll be doing it in 10 seconds. Sorry, Adam. We're gonna do. I only got 30 eliminators done, so I do want to try to get more of them. I got one in today, and it was a pretty good draft, honestly. And we have one spot open. One spot open. So after this, I'm gonna go through. So I'm gonna go through and look at all the German Shepherds I done. I drafted 13 at one time, and I have not looked at any of the finished products. Steve rocking the 101, of course. We got on real time, Thad, and the 2. I got the 4. Cactus is in the 8. I believe that is part of somebody's. Yeah, yeah. There's a reason he comes to stream drafts. We got Nick Bach in the 12. Yeah, come on, like somebody's actually a hacker. I get it. It's pretty hilarious, really. Yeah, all you had to do is get your sister out of the way, right? We got yeah, but so the draft I had earlier today, uh although I definitely bungled up a couple of those uh German Shepherds. I have one where I have Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, and Justin Fields because I timed out on both of them. Uh, so there's that. So I have not looked through them. Yeah, exactly. Why wouldn't he be? When you're in good with Numi, it has benefits. Absolutely. I I'm perfectly like I will take. Why do I have Jahmyr Gibbs ranked so low here? I did my rankings, by the way, a long time ago. I I have to go in and redo my eliminator rankings. I plan on doing that probably tomorrow. Who, if you want 101 like Steve, you got to get on a button down shirt and exposed chest with the top down buttons undone. I'm I assume that Steve drafts with no shirt when he's off stream. That's my assumption. I think the button down shirt gets put on when he goes on stream. But yeah, I'll take Justin Jefferson at 4. Like, obviously, running back is more important in this format, but like, absolutely, shirts are overrated. I agree. Yep. Like he's gonna have to stop at some point because they will look into this. I Yeah, so I think it was an eliminator. I got Joe Mixon at 66 earlier today, which is ludicrous. Like, no, it wasn't an Elon. It was something. I can't remember what I was drafting. It might have. It was no, it was a Shepherd because I done a couple Shepherds early before I ended up having to spam all of them. Yeah, so the first round goes fairly normal for a eliminator. I love the Derrick Henry pick for eliminator specifically. I I don't get to it much in the other formats, but in eliminator, I do get to it quite a bit. We got a Genty lad here. Yeah, I was gonna say like pretty much close in general. We got a Nick Bach here sending out prayers. I mean, these are fun starts. Amon Ra, Brian Thomas, and Nico Collins, Malik Neighbors. Those are both really fun starts. Never wear pants during or not during shows. Yeah. Like, as long as you don't stand up, it's fine, right? Uh, hmm. We'll go ahead and take Jacobs here. I I do kind of want to take Bowers there. Uh, yeah, just if you decide not to wear pants during your stream, just don't stand up. Just a friendly reminder. There are sites for that. This is not one of them. Yeah, I think I really wanted Bowers there, but like I knew based on what's happening here, I needed to take Jacobs. Hey, what's up, Bayou Bengal? Thanks for stopping in. We got an eliminator draft going here, sir. And after this one, I am going to call it. You aren't an only who's? Not yet. Not yet. We got a man like. Do I want to just pull up Brees Hall? Nah, I'm going to. You know what? No, I'm going to go ahead and pull up Brees Hall here. I do think that Rashee Rice is the better pick, but I take Rashee all the time. I have a lot of Rashee Rice. So, hey, thanks for tuning in. Drive safe. Yeah, like that's what I was thinking. I've taken Bowers a couple times in this tournament because he does fall to the 4 spot, 4-5, or the 3-4 spot pretty often. And I think that down there, like the ceiling he offers makes some sense for Eliminator because you do need that knockout potential as well as building a very solid team. And Bowers and McBride will give you knockout potential uh, at a position that very few people are going to have knockout potential at, right? So I do actually not hate those picks. I agree that they should be down the board, but it, and I would probably just take Bowers over McBride. I'm kind of curious why Thad wanted to do that. I'm just generally curious why he like. Do you actually have Trey McBride over Bowers, or you just got a bunch of Bowers? Like, like I don't hate it, and I wouldn't mind bringing McBride up to the other side of the board because he doesn't fall there. But at this point, like Jamar Chase McBride is a common thing, but Chase plus Bowers is probably very uncommon. Not that uniqueness probably matters the least in this tournament, in my eyes. That's just a feels take. Oh yeah, I get one of these 3 running backs. I'm super happy with that. We got the elite wide receiver start. Actually got 3 decent running backs as well. Yeah, we'll take Chuba. I actually think Chuba it goes underdrafted in the other setups. It's hard to make a case for him to go ahead, but like I wouldn't be shocked. Like if he was going at the 4-5 turn, I would still be taking him like at 8%. So I think that he's a really good pick in Eliminator if he's going there, since running backs are moved up the board. And Kamara is such a good floor play. He's going to start the season for sure. If something happens to Kamara late in the season, like they want to start Neal, like that doesn't matter that much for Eliminator because you have to get to that point, right? I will take me some Xavier Worthy or Devontae Smith here. Absolutely. Actually, yeah, we'll take Worthy. I love Worthy in this tournament because I think Worthy has like 30 plus point ceiling. I think he's going to have at least one of those games this year and multiple 20 plus point games. So I think having him gives you a little bit of knockout power that you can't necessarily get with, like, I mean, a lot of the players here do that, but like Calvin Ridley gives you floor. Like Ridley's a fine pick. And what this drafter done, like I love this, like Bijan, Chase Brown, then Josh Allen, but he went with the ceiling play and then a floor play with it. Like that's how I've been layering my teams. Uh, and that's kind of what I'm doing. Like Jefferson offers ceiling and floor, right? But like Worthy is going to make me more likely to take a Jacoby Myers or a Shakir, who I don't get very much of. I probably won't take Shakir on this team, but yeah. Oh, Steve, you would like to know I got a Shakir share at 90 today. It was pretty nice. I did for the week 17. Okay. That's what I was expecting you to say. That's why I was yeah, I that's what I was expecting you to say. I was just curious if that was the case. It's not like McBride's a bad pick, right? Like McBride's still a fine pick. Yeah, I'm not out. Like I said, if Shakir's falls to the late 80s, early 90s, I'm in. But man, that it was actually an eliminator team too. And it's very nice. I got a couple really good values on it. Uh but Shakir in the eliminator at pick 90 felt awesome. Like it felt really good. Not gonna lie. Thanks everybody who has showed up for smashing the like. We got 25 likes. Only a couple viewers right now. I'm assuming there's several other people live. It's summer. Some of the other people have started streaming during the time period that I started streaming. It's all good. I'm still gonna stick with my 4 p.m. start time, unless I have a guest that needs a different time. But all right, so Tony Pollard goes a lot higher here, and it does make sense. Yeah, I'll take Travion. Um, yeah, I'm not that worried about it. Like, yes, I doubled up a week 14 buy, but it's week 14 in this contest. I'm perfectly fine with that. I could be absolutely done at running back if I really needed to be, or I could just take an extra guy near the end. Like this team right here is the kind of team that I would add a Nick Chubb to. I don't like the Nick Chubb pick. I don't think it's a very good pick, but like this style of team is like the only kind of team I would take a Nick Chubb on in any format, honestly. I guess I do think that the Texans will be a better team. So like as a pure contingent upside, maybe I need to be more in, but I didn't think he looked that good last year, kind of like with Cooper Kupp. I just didn't think he looked good last year. Um so yeah, I'm fine with that. And like now I can just hammer wide receiver. Like just hammer it next few rounds. And I mean, Chris Godwin is trending for week 1. Chris Godwin is now off the board. We got I don't want to stack that game up. Yeah, we'll take Jacoby Myers here. This feels fine. I I don't I actually prefer Stephon Diggs to Jacoby Myers. I prefer Matthew Golden to Jacoby Myers in most formats. In this format, I don't really know. If I didn't have Jefferson, I would have gambled on Addison only getting a 1 or 2 game suspension and taken him there. It's a full round discount for the 1 game suspension. You have a 50-50 chance every week. So, and his ADP does seem like it's a little low for what he provides in this tournament. So we got Jordan Mason already off the board at 82. Somebody in this room is a running back piggy. I wouldn't know who that was, but they've definitely scared some people into taking running backs way ahead of ADP. It might be this guy in the 4 hole with Josh Jacobs, Brees Hall, Chuba Hubbard, and Travion Henderson. Feels decent. Doesn't feel great for Nick Bach, who I unintentionally probably put into a box. But I do like this start with Malik Neighbors, Nico, Jaden Daniels, Devontae Adams. Like, very well, like, no bye week issues. Jaden Daniels is an awesome pick in this. And then Harvey, Montgomery feel really good. And then Golden Downs, like, he's probably going to be done at 6 wide receivers. Crazy taking Broncos RB for a big 60. Yeah. Yeah, what are you doing, guy? Broncos RB4? How dare you? All right, so I mean, TJ Hawkinson's available here. Okay, he is no longer available. I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to take Justin Fields. Justin Fields is such a good pick for this format. He definitely has a job beginning of the season. I believe there's no risk with Fields. He has been injured here and there in the past, but he had, what was it? In 4 weeks, I think he had 4 rushing touchdowns or something last year. He had 5 rushing touchdowns in, I'll look it up on Player Profiler real quick. I can't remember how many games he started. I think it was 5 or 6. He started 6 weeks at the beginning of the season. And in those 6 weeks, he ended up with 5 rushing touchdowns. That feels pretty good. It did kind of box me out a little bit at wide receiver, but I'm fine with that. I mean, Pittman's a really good pick here, and so is Shaheed. We will take Rashid Shaheed, another Spike Week guy. So we got 2 Spike Week guys. We have a floor play here, and Jefferson. Yeah. We try to be positive on this channel, Zero. We speak positivity, not negativity, unless it's about certain players, the ones I don't like. We only speak positively about the players I like. I might have to put you in timeout, sir. If you had to go 0% exposure on one top 10 quarterback and running back, who would I choose? Well, if it was top 10. Okay. So top 10 running back would be Barkley, no question. I mean, it would be Barkley or Henry. Probably Barkley because he gets drafted higher if I had to. And quarterback would be Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow not being is Kyron a top 10 though? I don't think Kyron's top 10. Yeah, because Josh Jacobs number 10. So, like, if it was top 20, it would be Kyron for me as well. But it would be Joe Burrow because Joe Burrow at no point ever actually needed to be at the 4-5 turn. I think it's crazy that he gets picked at the 4-5 turn. Bucky's number 11, but I mean, it's the same thing. Like, I actually like Bucky. You're a running back, bro. I'm surprised you feel that way. So we don't have. I mean, I'm okay doing this. We will take Drake May as well. We got Drake May, Justin Fields at quarterback. We got Josh Jacobs, Brees Hall, Chuba Hubbard, and Travion Henderson at quarterback or at running back. And we have Justin Jefferson, Worthy, Myers, and Shaheed at wide receiver. I feel pretty good about this start. If it wasn't only rookies left, I would have taken a wide receiver there. But since it was only rookies left, like Trey Harris, like Buka, that I actually kind of liked in this range, like I definitely took Jake May because of that. Okay, under two, you like the big boys. Got it. You got to be a big boy for zero. I no wonder you like Bayou Bengal so much. That's Bayou Bengal also prefers like the bigger backs, and he's a running back bro for the most part. So yeah, shout out Bayou Bengal. For those of you who do not follow him, I believe he's one of the better watches. He's very entertaining for sure. Uh, I mean, I would love to get either one of these players here. I'm not scared of Janu at all. I think yeah, we're just gonna kill wide receiver with volume. I'll go ahead and take Janu here. It's 14 pick discount on ADP on a player that I don't believe should be falling, but he is. That's why you and Bach, the BMI analysis. Okay, it's body mass. What I assume. I've heard people talk about the BMI. It's body mass. Yeah, I'm not positive. Index. Okay. Not sure why that word was the one that was escaping me. Let's look and see what people are doing. Thad here in the two hole. He's got Jamar Chase, Trey McBride, Garrett Wilson, Kenneth Walker, Connor, Caleb Johnson, Aaron Jones. 3 non-quarterback or non-running backs, and he came back strong. Like I like that start quite a bit. Got Bo Nix. Stacking doesn't really matter in this, but wait, he took Marvin Mims, so he did stack Michael Pittman and Hollywood Brown. Very solid start, sir. Like you are good at every position. You've built a solid team so far. Steve in the one hole. Saquon Barkley, T. Higgins. This tight end bull took Brock Bowers at 25. You got Alvin Kamara, Cortland Sutton, Quinshawn Pacheco. He pulled Pacheco all the way up. Yeah, I've been there. I feel like you need that fourth for sure. Darnell Mooney, he got a nice fall there. Baker Mayfield, Egbuka. I was kind of hoping Egbuka fell back to me uh, for the Jonnu pick, but I didn't realize that you had Baker. Dak Prescott, like that, very solid team, like always. We'll go over next team here after I make my next two picks. I mean, yeah, I'll pull Adam Thielen up. I don't care. I need another wide receiver. I need another floor play with Rashid Shaheed and Adam and Xavier Worthy. And honestly, like I don't really think Thielen is just a floor play. Yeah. Yeah, I I decided to take Jacobs over Bowers because I seen that Chase Brown was the only one left. I wanted Bowers, but because it was between like those two would have definitely been off the board, and I would have had 0 running backs, kind of like he did. Uh, so I chose Jacobs because of that. JJ Jefferson, I assume. Yeah, I mean, I think I've got a very balanced wide receiver room. Like, I'm not going to take any more players like older players like that. I'll probably be shooting for ceiling with the rest of those picks. Um, we will go ahead and take a third quarterback in Bryce Young. It's the same bye week as Drake May, but that's bye week 14. If we get there, I'm fine. Like, I've made plenty of money on this team if we get to week 14 and Fields is benched and these two guys don't play. But I had to complete the trifecta of running back stacks with my quarterbacks. All right, so out of the 12 hole, Nick Buck has Malik Neighbors, Nico Collins, Jaden Daniels, Devontae Adams, Harvey, David Montgomery, Matthew Golden, Josh Downs, Ramondre Stevenson, Zach Charbonnet, Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland. Yeah, it's going to be a 6 running back build, but I like it. I like it quite a bit, actually. Like, Ramondre and Charbonnet are perfect in a room that you don't take your first until Harvey. Like, and Demont, like, he has guys who are definitely going to score some points in the first few weeks. And with the wide receiver firepower he has, like, and elite quarterback, yep. Oh, Nick always builds solid teams. So, yeah, Meg and I did an eliminator to start. And then for the second draft, we moved into an eliminator. And then after this draft, since you just came in, I took a nap this afternoon. And when I woke up, the German Shepherd was 94% full and all the slows were gone. So I did 13 at once. I haven't fully looked over the teams. So after this draft, I'm going to go through all those teams and see how bad of a disaster they were. One or two of them were like, I got some good stuff. Like, I got a Joe Burrow at 71 stacked with T. Higgins. And like the 2 or 3 drafts that I had that, like, I basically would look at the top and see what player it was, and there were 2 or 3 of them that I actually paid a lot of attention to, and the other ones kind of went to the wayside a little bit. All right, we got. Yeah, sure, I'll take Kyle Pitts here. Or do I want? Yeah, we'll take Kyle Pitts. I'm fine with this. By what week do you think you will stop running into bad constructed teams that just got unlucky to get through the first few rounds? I don't honestly, I think the math is going to say that it's just head to heads. So there's a decent chance that those teams play each other, right? So I think a lot of bad constructed teams will get through, and all they need to do is run into a team that has a bad week. But I was going to say like 6 or 7. Like, basically, by the point that if you won 50 max, you have a 50-50 shot to be in. I think that there'll be like a pick or 2 behind that. We'll go ahead and take Dobbins here. We're going to kill we'll be done at running back with Jacobs, Breece Hall, Chuba, Travion, and J.K. Dobbins. Got our 3 quarterbacks. I'm probably just going to keep just these 2 tight ends, maybe. I'm definitely going I'm going 2 or 3 more receivers. I have not decided. We will see what comes around. Yeah, I did 13. And so what's funny about it is player Q, who is Neil Orfield, I seen him in at least 7 of those lobbies. So I'm going to be curious to see what happened. I know one of the drafts I took Jalen Hurts, and I starred Baker Mayfield for a stack and didn't realize I was picking at the turn, and then my top guy was Justin Fields. So I have a Jalen Hurts, Mayfield, Justin Fields team. Probably unique. uh, it struggled at some other positions. So, like, mistakes were made. Absolutely. Stacking didn't happen as much as it should have. They are probably dumpster fires, but I had a good time. Like, I know that one team actually looks okay. I'm actually gonna name all of them like the same thing. It'd probably just be 13 at once or something. And that way I can track it. I haven't named those are the ones that I done I haven't named, so we will yeah, whenever you did the 5 at once, did you do it from the queue up screen? I I had a ton. Like, I took a lot of Austin Eckler, and I took a lot of course he goes. Um, I lied. I'll just go ahead and take Mason Taylor here. Mason Taylor, like, I could easily flex a tight end over a wide receiver. But yeah, my last two picks will be a wide receiver here. There is a guy I have in mind for my last pick, who I don't think is getting drafted very often. I was drafting him pre-draft a little bit. Heard his name again today. Just 2 days ago, I was debating on starting to fill this guy in. It's a lot easier to do it from the slow draft screen. And then when it pops up, you can just you just star the player and then you don't actually make the pick. You just star the player and then move on to the next one. So like you click on the draft and then it pops up, you scroll, look at your team, and then you can star the player and do it that way. That's how I did I didn't actually make very many picks. Yeah, I could not have done it on 13 tabs. Like that would have been ridiculous. I I kind of think that Adonai Mitchell. Hmm. Yeah, we're gonna go with Adonai Mitchell here. I think he kind of fits Daniel Jones a little better than Alec Pierce does. Oh, okay. I My problem was I had like 7 slows queued up with where I was on the board, and it definitely like it at least put the ones that like came up fresh up top. Yeah, I'm just gonna start taking a lot of Adonai Mitchell. Um, I I have a ton of Alec Pierce already, but I think that Daniel Jones' deep game isn't near as good as A Rich's, obviously. So I definitely want to like start getting in on Adonai Mitchell, who was incredibly open most of last season. Yes, he had some drop issues, but I could see him with the new quarterback, like with Daniel Jones' game, I could see him being a better pick now. So the player I took a couple times that you're probably going to make fun of me, was Deontay Johnson. Like I took like 3 shares of Deontay Johnson in the German Shepherd. Uh, I think he's a fine pick right now. He's not getting taken that often. He's gonna have a role. It may be a third down role, but he still gets open. He's still really fast. He's just kind of an asshole, right? Like that was the case last year. But you can get him for free in the last round every draft. But if Tutu or Ray Ray is on the field or is available, I'll just take one of them. Ray Ray fits my bye weeks a little better, so we'll do that. But Deontay Johnson, somebody I'm definitely Yeah, I ended up with like I don't remember. I ended up with like a decent chunk for an undrafted player, like 5% or something over the 259 drafts I done on Underdog pre-draft with Deontay. Like I definitely have more than most people. Um, and if the Browns have an offense that's relevant at all, like, and if they have a quarterback that is okay, like they have good enough weapons, they have an insane defense, their offensive line is above average, and they have decent enough players everywhere, right? Stop uh Spotify there, I think only took 4 running backs. Bijan, Chase Brown, Swift, and Tracy. Oh, Gibbs, Taylor, Mixon, and Roshan. Yeah, yeah. That this is the contest I'm going to start taking in weekly. Like the weekly winners is the contest for him, or any time box tournament. I think time box tournaments. Deontay Johnson is a really good pick. All right, so we got a 3-5-7-3. Justin Fields, Drake May, Bryce Young. Running backs: Josh Jacobs, Brees Hall, Chuba Hubbard, Travion Henderson, J.K. Dobbins. Wide receivers: Justin Jefferson, Xavier Worthy, Jacoby Myers, Rashid Shaheed, Adam Thielen, Adonai Mitchell, Ray McLeod, Jonnu Smith, Kyle Pitts, Mason Taylor. I mean, wasn't he always? Uh, so we are going to go thumb through those drafts real quick. We're going to see how bad this went. All of these drafts were drafted at the same time. All of those unnamed drafts drafted at the same time today. A banger right here. Look at this. All right. We got this one, 3-5-7-3. Projected points really high. Jaden Daniels, Justin Fields, Justin Herbert, apparently all stacked. Chuba Hubbard, Alvin Kamara, Tony Pollard, Algier, Eckler. I don't mind it. Nico Ladd, week 7. Man, we got a game stack week 17. This is one of the ones I kind of focused on. We got Terry McLaurin, Darnell Mooney, Rashid Shaheed, Darius Slayton, Alan Lazard. Because in a time box contest, I like taking guys. Like I got 2 shares of Lazard in this. And then David Njoku, Mason Taylor, and Tyler Conklin. So we got a Fields double stack here with Alan Lazard, wide receiver 1 out there. I mean, honestly, this team could have been a lot worse. This team's actually really solid. We will find worse teams. Okay, we got Lamar, Justin Herbert, 2-6-7-3. Brees Hall, Chuba, Pollard, Algier. You'll kind of notice what my rankings are, right? I got some Chuba. I'll have some Pollard. I'll have some Eckler. I'll have some Nico, and I'll have some Ladd, and a lot of Herbert. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what it's going to be. Austin Eckler, Will Shipley, Nico Collins, Ladd, another Week 17 bring back on that game. Rome, Mooney, Rashad Bateman, a double stack Lamar. I didn't get to a Green Bay piece. Oh, no, I did. I got to Tucker Kraft, Darius Slayton, Tutu Atwell, really solid. Mark Andrews, Tucker Kraft, Terrence Ferguson. That one was not a disaster. This one was. I took Justin Herbert 20 picks before ADP because I don't know why, but I definitely did it. We got Justin Herbert, Drake May, Cam Ward. We had to stack. Well, we had the Ladd Hampton stack. Yeah. Oh, look, another Herbert team. Omari and Hampton, James Conner, Brian Robinson, Tajay Spears, Isaac Garendo, Miles Sanders. Got that Week 17 LAC correlation, right? You got to do that. Puka Nakua, Ladd McConkey, JSN, Metcalf, Diggs, Metcalf at 55, by the way. Diggs, Thielen, 12 picks past ADP, and DK. I had definitely made a mistake on my tight end room here, but I got a double stack. Like I either had to go 6 wide receivers. Wow, you even have the week 17 from last year. I do. Yeah, like this team is very well correlated as well. Like for the most part, like if we're doing 17 at once, those 3 feel pretty good. This is oh wait, they're all by week 9. Whoops. Uh I knew this happened. I didn't realize it was all by week 9. All right, we got Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Justin Fields. Because by week 9 is the thing. We got Bucky Irving here, Tony Pollard once again, Tyrone Tracy, Garindo, Miles Sanders, Jefferson, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Smith. I actually ended up with enough receivers, so like without by week 9, that's good. Rome, Adam Thielen, Jalen Noel, Deontay Johnson at 196 because why not? Because I had to fit Deontay Johnson and Lazard on the same team. So if you need both of these guys, you have to pull one of them up. Tyler Warren and Dallas Goedert. We got Jaden Daniels, Drake May, Jahmyr Gibbs, Travion Henderson, Quinshawn, Tank Bigsby, Dowdle, Sanders, McConkey, Terry McLaurin, Jaden Higgins, Luther Burden, Christian Kirk, Hollywood Brown, Jalen Coker, Savion Williams, then Kittle and Ertz. I have some stacks there, not much. Another Drake May team, a 3-5-7-3 on this one. Drake May, Trevor Lawrence, Daniel Jones, Ashton Genty, Brees Hall. Ashton Genty at 13, by the way. Brees Hall fell all the way back. Kenneth Walker, Ray Day, Jarquez, Brian Thomas, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Darnell Mooney, Josh Downs, Cedric Tillman, Adam Thielen. This wide receiver room is legit, absolutely legit. I got the week 17 bring back with Indy with Daniel Jones. I got Josh Downs, Brian Thomas with Daniel Jones, Trevor Lawrence with Brian. I have that whole game stacked out. Jonnu, Cade Otton, and Tyler Higbee. Another Lamar team, another Drake May team, another Bryce Young team. Who would have thought? 3-6-7-2. Joe Mixon, pick 59 every time. Travion Henderson, Tony Pollard again. Ramondre Jarquez, Trevor Etienne as a low-owned option. Nico, Brian Thomas, Tet, Josh Downs, Adam Thielen once again. Darius Slayton, and why not Deontay Johnson, Tyler Warren, Mark Andrews. These teams aren't as bad as I was expecting. We're going to get to some bad teams. I'm going to assume that none of those were on autopilot. Baker Mayfield, Caleb Williams, Michael Penix, Joe Mixon, Quinshawn, Tajay, Devin Neal, Dylan Sampson. This one feels like it might have got away a little bit. Puka, Ladd, Devontae, got the double stack, didn't get. Well, I guess I stacked up Penix on the other side with who? With nobody. Like I just have to bring back quarterback with. It popped. I clicked it. I didn't look. Decisions were made. Penix 3 rushing touchdowns. Nailed it. When that happens, we'll go back to this stream and we'll all laugh. Puka, Ladd, Devontae, DJ Moore. This one is definitely on autopilot because one of the things I was doing intentionally was not taking DJ Moore, and I have not moved him down in my rankings. I need to go do that ASAP. Rome Odunze, Kyle Williams, Adam Thielen, Alec Pierce, Hawkinson, Zach Ertz. For an auto-drafted team, this feels really good. Jaden Daniels, So at 3-5-7-3, Jaden Daniels, Justin Fields, Cam Ward, RJ Harvey, Aaron Jones, Isaiah Pacheco, Tajay Spears, Austin Eckler, Brian Thomas, Drake London, Terry McLaurin, stacked. We got Chris Godwin, Rashid Shaheed, double bringbacks, Keenan Allen, Savion Williams, Tucker Kraft, Pat Fryermuth, and JT Sanders. So I have Savion Williams ranked a little higher than most people. I need to drop him if I'm going to auto anything for sure. I just put him up there so I don't forget about him. Drake May, Bryce Young, Shador Sanders. My first click of Shador Sanders this entire offseason. I didn't even realize that that was a thing. Like the double week 14. We got Jordan Mason, Jalen Warren, Tootin, Ray Davis, Rashad White, DJ Giddens, Marshawn Lloyd. This is a 3-7-6-2. Jamar Chase, Rashee Rice, T. Higgins, all three by week 10. Nailed it. Devontae Smith, Roma Dunze, Jerry Jeudy. I might take a 0 in week 10, but this room is nuts. Like, this is really, really strong. George Kittle, Mason Taylor. Marshawn Lloyd might have needed to be a wide receiver, but that's fine. This team I felt like was really good. 2-7-7-2. Joe Burrow picked 71. Justin Fields. Omarion Hampton, Cam Scatabo, Tootin, Rashad White, Will Shipley, Jarquez, Ollie Gordon. Jefferson, T. Higgins, Garrett Wilson, Steph Diggs, Jack Besh, Alec Pierce, Scantling, Kittle, and Likely. I guess it wasn't as good as I thought. It's fine. It's not great. Need some things to happen at running back. I feel okay, but not great. Yeah, I definitely needed Ollie Gordon to be a wide receiver. I'm sure I would have done that if I wasn't doing 12 other drafts. 3-5-7-3. Baker, Dak, Tyler Shuck. Jahmyr Gibbs, Achane, David Montgomery, Cam Scatabo, Will Shipley. Mike Evans stacked. Jameson Williams, George Pickens stacked. Chris Olave stacked. Rashid Shaheed. We got the triple stack. We got the triple stack with Olave, Shaheed, and Juwan Johnson, Adam Thielen, Keenan Allen. And then we got Jake Ferg, Dalton Kincaid, Juwan Johnson. So we got a double stack there. This is a really nice team. And then Jalen Hurts, Drake May. Jalen Hurts right at ADP. Bijan Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, David Montgomery, Rashad White, Devin Neal, Devontae Adams, Travis Hunter, Matthew Golden, Jaden Higgins, Luther Burden, Christian Kirk, Pat Bryant, Darius Slayton, Pitts, Ertz, Arroyo. I think there's only 3 total disasters, only 2 total disasters and 2 others that were not optimal. But honestly, it didn't feel that bad. How many of those teams do you guys think were completely toast? Only 7 you watching, so let me know. I didn't realize I was watching Leg Upstream with the it's so I actually have Drake May ranked at like 110. I just don't ever take him there because I don't want I don't want way too much. I had 30% of him at one point, and I'm wanting to end with like 21 to 25%. So I definitely probably moved up in exposure on Drake May after this. Let's look at what we got. Okay, it's not going to update. Okay, there we go. Drake May went up to 23%, so that's fine. I'm not clicking Rashee Rice as much now these 1-2 turn or 2-3 turn. I need to probably slow down on Thielen a little bit. But I just feel like he's one of the most mispriced players on the board. I truly do. But anyway, thanks everybody for showing up. Let me go get the link to the other stream. We got the Fanspeak Network. They are going live here in 10 minutes. If you like Big Draft Energy, he is live currently. And if nothing else, at least pop over there, give my friend a like, and pop something into the chat. That would be awesome. And this is the link to the Fanspeak Network stream. Thanks, everybody, for showing up. I had a blast. I'll be back tomorrow, 3 p.m. No guests yet. I may reach out to somebody. I may just do it myself tomorrow. But thanks, everybody. Take care.